Hi, I'm Sharon Pratt, former mayor of Washington, D.C., and also the founding director of the Institute of Politics, Policy, and History. Welcome to Moments That Matter, where we explore how history is now. In this 2024 election cycle, we are witnessing how the role of vice president has suddenly become all-encompassing. It has consumed the interests of the American people, but that's not how it started. You know, in 1776, when this country was founded, and we're about to celebrate 250 years in 2026, it was such a radical notion. 1776, we declared independence from Great Britain and any form of a monarchy. We were going to be a government of we the people. What was that? Everybody was, how do you do that? Can it work? And it didn't. From 1783 to 1789, it did not work. And so they had to dispatch James Madison and Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin and others to come up with a constitution. And that constitution tried to figure out how we the people could work. Well, the most important branch would be the branch that represented we the people. That's the Congress. And when you come to Washington, D.C., you'll see the most significant building in the city is the Capitol. And then they said, well, I guess we have to have somebody who actually implements what they do. And so they came up with the idea of a president. They have the president's mansion here also, the White House. And then if there's any confusion, they would have the third branch of government, the courts. The Supreme Court is also here. Now, initially, the notion of a vice president was a consolation prize, because even though they were radical enough to think that we, the people, should govern, they didn't quite trust the regular people voting. So they came up with the idea of an electoral college. That's how we got the president we got in 2016. So no matter what the popular vote might be, the electoral college would determine who won. But then people said, but suppose my guy comes in second, because it was only guys then. What happens to that person? They said, I tell you what, we'll make that person vice president. They eventually had to change all of how they did that, but they didn't change what the role of the vice president was. The vice president would preside over the Senate, barring, John Adams could tell you that. The vice president gets to vote when? When there's a tie vote, only then. And then finally, the vice president, Mike Pence can tell you this, gets to certify who won in the electoral college. Boy, has that role changed. So recently, in this 2024 cycle, we saw a lot of conversation about why you pick someone to be your vice president. Kamala Harris made it clear she wanted someone with whom she had chemistry. I think Trump made it clear when he picked Vance, he wanted someone with whom he had chemistry. And they have that option now. But you know, when the country was founded, in terms of how you elected a vice president, that person who got to be president had no choice. Whoever came in second was automatically the vice president, even if they were your arch enemy. Now, fortunately for George Washington, he had John Adams, who was a good soldier and agreed to just go and work with George Washington. But poor John Adams, he got Thomas Jefferson. They were at war with each other from the beginning. And in fact, Thomas Jefferson ran against John Adams when he stood up for re-election. That really resulted in the 12th Amendment because all hell broke loose. It took 7 days, 36 ballots in the House to finally figure out who would be president. We've come a long ways on that choice.